Hello. As you know, I'm Kathy East, and I've spoken here before, okay? Lighthearted, okay? I'm not here to attack anybody. It's not my style, okay? I just want to bring up a few things, all right? First thing, I guess there was a list that was just put out. I believe it was published May 9th, May 10th, something like that. And that it released a list of the top 20 of the best run high schools in the state of Illinois. And Lincoln Way had 3 schools on that list. So I appreciate that, and I thank you for that. And I pat us all on the back, because as parents, we make sure that our kids are getting the best education. And as board members, I know that you have worked to give us what you feel is best at the time. So I do, and I'm very proud that Lincoln Way is on that list. The next thing I'd like to do is I'd just like to talk about, I've addressed the board on a few different occasions. I've also emailed everybody. I've emailed separately. I've emailed as a group. And unfortunately, I don't always get responses that even answer what I'm asking. I get sometimes generic responses, which are polite, but I never seem to get an answer to my question. The biggest question I've been asking lately, as you all know, to remind you, is that how do we get an item on an agenda? I spoke with Dr. Bill Smith. He was at he works for the Illinois Association of School Boards. And I met with him last Friday, and we talked about, how do you do that? How do you get an item on the agenda? And he said, school boards wouldn't deny that. And I said, well, I'm having a problem. I really am. And he said that, in all seriousness, he said best practices dictate that if your community is asking you to put something on an agenda as an action item, that typically best practices would say, yes, we do need to do that because our community is asked. Again, I'm not exactly sure how to address that. One of the things is that my husband is that lay low kind of guy who every day is like, are you really going to speak tonight? Are you really going to do this? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. He wants me to just kind of be quiet, stay out of this. And I appreciate that. I don't mind that. But we all know that that's not going to happen. Because I still haven't found answers. And in August, when all this went down, I told him, I will stop as soon as I understand. As soon as I understand why and what they're doing, and I get it, I'll stop asking questions. But it just seems, again, every question, even the answers, just lead to more questions. And I'm a relatively intelligent person. I have IQ tests to prove that I'm intelligent, but I'm still not understanding what's going on. And I mean this very seriously. One of the things that I feel that we need to talk about is that there's been problems over the last year that have been brought up. Not just over Dr. Wiley's administration, but currently there's been problems over the last year. I'm not sure. I saw in the news last night that the coach no longer lives on the property. I didn't know that. Now what do we do with the property? Are we going to rent it? Is it going to be just vacant? Who's going to maintain that? What do we do with that? Also, Aunt Nancy's has obviously been a sore spot for some people. Again, I have no problem with on-site daycare. Great. But now it's going to be another 6 months before we can transition it. Understand the logistics as well. We do need 6 months to transition that properly, but we should have started it in February, not to wait until the next school year to start that transition process. In September, I asked a question about the South Suburban School District. This South Suburban School District hired a private investigator to look into school employees who did private work benefiting Dr. Wiley on public time. I've asked this question. I know other people have asked this question. Is it possible that we're going to get an answer? Because we really don't understand, or I don't understand, why we can't just be told the answer. And as your kids, you would all look at your kids and think, well, they got something to hide, that's why they're not telling us. I don't want to think that. I just want to know what's going on, okay? When you are the type of person who is willing to get up here and speak, people love you or hate you. It's amazing that people on social media absolutely hate me that I've never met, okay? But when you put yourself out here and you're willing to do this, people have no problems taking you down. Now, I don't hate anybody, so for me, that's a little difficult to swallow. But I also get asked people who contact me and ask me to help them. I don't have the power to help, but I do have the power to ask questions.
And here's the 5-minute mark.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I will. One of the things is that the mom in question asked me about the late fees. And she said that she was charged a late fee for her 2 kids. That late fee was supposedly not supposed to be sent. So on March 9th, she shared an email that was sent out from Mr. Sawin that actually said Dr. Tingley told her to refund the late fee because that money did not belong to them. So I asked a few other people and I thought, well, what's going on? One mom who had a family of 3 paid a late fee, but only paid $50. Another family who had 2 children paid $100. That doesn't make any sense. Why are the late fees not perfect? They should be aligned exactly at $50 a child, if that's what it's going to be. And then if Dr. Tingley on March 9th told Mr. Sawin to refund the money, why is the rest of the community, why aren't they getting their money back too? I'm just asking. I still have the confidence in the Board of Education that we can get through this. Thank you.
Thank you.